Come closer, wipe the tears from your cheek. Sit down, come round, 'cause when the sound is gone, the memory of me will keep you stuttering on. But I talked with the devil, I brought him down to his knees. Let me tell you about me, about your favorite song. I've sung with angels, I've spoken.
Red lights say stop, I keep moving on. I ain't fading away. I've got one shot, I know I can make it. Got to find my saving grace. One hit, don't stop the beat. One hit, don't stop the beat. One life, don't stop the beat. Got to find my saving grace. One hit, don't stop the beat. One hit, don't stop the beat. One life, don't stop the beat. Got to find my saving grace. I know something inside us will carry us on. I know I'll make it to the door. Oh, I know her life will guide us and carry us on. I know I'll make it to the door, right in the door. Got to keep on climbing. I don't know.
Oh, I've got two musics going. Well, let's switch it over, bro. Hey, guy, I just realized I've got a loop back going on. I've got a little echo. And I think I know why. So, that was fun. All right, we got it fixed. We had two Jeffreys in there, and that's what we're doing tonight. That's what we're doing tonight to kind of figure it out. I appreciate you guys stopping in. And with that, let's put a little tune on here. Let's get some stuff going on here back. I never thought I would have to grow up and be a DJ to you people. Okay, so that wasn't in my plans. Here I sit. I see we got some people, and that's good. And in the back, we've got my good buddy, John Ryan. I will explain him in a little bit. He's going to come out here, and he's going to get messy with me. But, why are we here tonight, everybody? Let's see what's going on. Brian, Danielle, Sammy Superstar's in the house. I think Marcus had to go to bed. Mommy's here. Lala's here. And, of course, Continuous is going on. And Jennifer Espenscheid, she's in the house. Look, I'm going to take a couple seconds, and we're going to just kind of warm up, and I'm going to explain myself to you guys a little bit. Hopefully my music's not too loud. If it is, well, you know what? You're going to be fine. I don't care. So welcome to Drum Up Studio. Welcome to my open house. This has taken about a year to get put together. This is not something that is as easy as I thought it would be, because I just thought this would be, put up a mic, put up a camera, and let's just knock it out. Well, guess what? It's not how this rolls. And I had a lot of help along the way. More help than I could have imagined. Steve Worthy's going to jump in here and start trolling me. So that means we've already failed tonight. We'll get the moderators out, take care of business, security. You're out of here, buddy. You know what? Let's just start why I'm here. So yes, let's make it simple. I am Jeffrey. I am going by J.A. Smith now. It's been something that I've been looking at doing for years. If you've called me Jeffrey your whole life or my whole life or for what we call me, whatever you want. I don't really care. But yeah, if you've seen the J.A. Smith rolling around town on the banners, that happened. Yep, that happened. That indeed happened. And that's going to keep happening. So just part of the deal. But I am here. Yes, I am a drummer. If you know me, that's great. If you don't, if you know me, you're going to have to step back and be patient. I got to explain a couple things to people. I'm not going to go into great detail and bore the world out of you because I would like to get to chat. This is an open house. Everybody brought some wine. Everybody brought some appetizers, except for Steve Worthy, who only brought an attitude, and I can't eat an attitude. So, thanks a lot, my friend. But yeah, I'm a lifelong drummer. percussionist. That is my distinct passion. I love that. That's my thread. We all have that thread. It could be drumming, it could be an accountant, it could be dog grooming, it could be fighting fires. It doesn't matter. We all have that one or maybe two passions. I have no idea, but I'll give you the really quick business on this. I went to college on a music scholarship. I lost that music scholarship about a year in because I did not go to class. And so, that's a thing. And then they pulled the scholarship. So then I went into computer science, and I'm so old, I was writing Fortran and Cobalt. Yes, I said it. I'm that old. And then I didn't care for that after a couple of years. So I went into business and got the old marketing degrees and operations and all that nonsense. And that was great. And then I graduated, and I told my parents that I wanted to start a llama and alpaca farm with a long time friend. They love that idea. So, I did that. Then I opened up a flower shop for about a year. That was fun. That made sense. And somewhere along the line, I met my best friend, and we started doing music by chance. And that's a whole nother story I won't get into, but 20 some odd years later, I don't know how many projects we've worked on, how many lives we've led. That has been a story. And then COVID hit. It's gotten weird. And I had to do something, and I started gaming, and I started getting into this, and I saw some opportunities for executing some passion projects, a lot of them. And so I got into this. Now, next thing you're going to say is, what are you doing here? You trying to get a bunch of subs and likes and trying to make a lot of money? Well, maybe. No, not really, because I don't care. If they grow organically, that's great. I'm looking for a platform to grow, to do my thing, and to help other people do their thing, because my whole life has been in supporting role in one way or the other. I've been helping people their whole lives do their passion. And so I'm kind of stepping it up, and I'm going to do my passions while I'm helping others. And what does that mean? What am I trying to accomplish? I love tech. I have owned a tech company for over 20 years. I've done endless web and network solutions and setup. So I have a big in-depth skill set there. Music tech. I've gotten into gaming. That's fun. But I tell you what, I really like the tech end of this for music and for content streamers and other people with passion. And so that's where I'm heading down. And I already have a playlist of things I'm going to start with to get into content. And you'll start to see that be released pretty soon. But for me, there are some other bigger projects in the wings that have to do with larger quest. And I'm not going to hype those. There's just something that are in the works, and we've had conversations with, and I'm excited. They are a project that will grind and be long-term and probably test my friendships. But we're going to do it. We're going to get on with it. So that is a very Cliff Note version of what I am trying to get done. What I want to do is open up chat and get in, because I see people that I know. I see people that were in a streamer group with me for a month that I got to know very well. I see some friends on here. And honestly, this is something I want to do tonight. I want all of us to have appetizers and a drink, talk. We'll get John in here, and he'll probably kill this party, but we'll bring John in here, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that we're cooking up. We've got some things that we'd like to do, and I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for all your projects as well. Got an Amy Fisher. That's a real name in the house. Yes, wife, Amy Fisher. So go with what that was, a weird name. So let's turn this music down a little bit. I would like to bring in John, and let's continue on this talk about how to raise your streamer, because I'm going to tell you, I have not done this on my own. I have had a lot of help, including with John, and a lot of you people that are sitting in chat right now. I'm looking at you. You guys have also been a big help. So I'm going to bring John in here. Hey, John. How you doing?
What's up?
What's up, my friend? How you doing?
I am pumped.
You look like you might have been working out a little bit, doing some stuff. Tell everybody where you're located, because I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Where are you located tonight?
And I am in New Jersey, and I'm about, I'd say, 25 miles away out of New York City. And I'm out west, though, so I'm not too far away from the Pennsylvania and the New York State border. So,
Oh, goodness.
yeah, I'm up in the corner. I'm tucked away a little bit. You know, New Jersey's not all just dumps and smelly armpits of the nation. You know, we do have tons of farms up here.
Is anybody else, when I think of New Jersey, the first thing I think of is the opening Sopranos. I cannot get the beginning of that out. And every time I land in Newark, the first thing I worry about is just some like making some guy mad that's got a connection or something like that. So that's kind of my experience with New Jersey.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I am super psyched that this is your first stream. I mean, it gives me chills because like I just started doing this stuff months ago, and I've seen a couple of the people that I've been associated with, you know, got out there and did the work and moved forward. And I am like super stoked for you, and I see great things going forth for you. And you left out some information that you had never told me, which is that you owned a flower shop.
Well, it was a quick hitter. I don't think I was in that for more than a year, but nonetheless, that's on the resume. And
Okay.
that one's kind of like, where did that come from? But
Well,
I don't know. I mean, between that and Llama and Alpaca Farms and music, it's just all over the map. I have no plan.
well, it's just funny because my wife's parents owned a flower shop for a few years. So,
Oh, is that right? So,
Yeah.
you know, we're finding a lot of things that you and I have in common. And Brian, Paul, I want to say what's up, brother.
What's up?
Brian is one of the many people that are in here supporting that did a trial program, a 30-day program with us for streamers, and we all really bonded. And it's good to see people moving forward. And we were going to have that discussion. We've talked about bringing each other along and how important that's been. Again, how to raise your streamer. And that's a big one. Oh boy, who's this person? Oh no, you're getting trolled all the way from back, probably in the next room.
Well, are you Joseph Buttafuoco?
I see. I knew that was going to happen. That's that's definitely, yeah. That's no, I'm not.
What
Sammy
up,
Superstars, and it wouldn't be a stream without Sammy. Sammy, if you don't know him, he's a wonderful guy out in your neck of the neighborhoods. He's out there not too far from
About
you, right?
20 minutes from me
Okay.
in Jersey.
And Jersey, and Roy says DJing is fun, and I have to say it's okay. As a musician, you know, we kind of like you shouldn't hire a DJ at the wedding. But sometimes it's like you should have hired a DJ for this wedding. So it's kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, people do like DJing a lot. So I totally get it. I want to answer this question for Sammy. Yes, Sammy, we are doing this from StreamYard. For people who don't know, StreamYard is another platform on top of another platform to get this presented to stand out. And it's quite a chain of tech flow that we have to do and get involved with. And I will say that it's testing all of our relationships with each other sometimes, but it's getting out, and that's good. And here's another guy I just want to bring in, because Steve Worthy was somebody that I fell into pretty early in our thing at Lita, which was a live every day in April program. And he's really got a lot going on. Like, he's really got some things happening, and he's another one to watch and learn from. And I'm glad that we met him. He has been somebody that
I haven't had a chance to really connect with Steve, but I could see the work he's doing, and I can see that he's up to some big things, and that's a plus to see, right? Because we're all here and we're trying to keep on moving forward and grow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all about.
Well, he brought some Jersey. Why can't I pump my own gas? So, do you guys have that law where you can't pump your own gas in Jersey, or is that where he's from?
No, we're not supposed to pump our own gas. I mean, the only time I ever used to do it is when I rode motorcycles. So I just pump my gas on my bike, of course.
Yeah.
But they pay people to pump your gas here.
They just worried you guys are not capable of pulling it out of the holster and pulling the trigger back and putting it in the thing. Is that just a thing?
Are we talking about pumping gas still?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
something like that. That's the after hour party talk. But yeah, that's
remind me of prom night. But
All sorts of problems, huh? On prom night. 87 unleaded was the least of your problems, probably on prom night.
Thanks. And so
anytime you can use your sound effects, that'll be something we get into down the road too.
Wait a second, though. I think you were really just didn't like. I think you need to tell us a little bit more. This was like really fast.
Yeah, I tried to skate over a lot of this stuff. It's like if you're on the run from like you're a fugitive, the last thing you want to do is like give out your credit card information and what hotels you've been staying in.
I just want to know one thing. I want to know one thing. I want to know just one.
Right.
So
one.
Like, I know there's a lot of facets to what you're doing, and both of us, right? We don't really know where everything's going to take us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's your why? What's your why? What is your main reason?
Yeah. The why is convoluted because I think like a lot of people that are getting into content, whether it's streaming or just content production, and that's not one thing. I think people get confused about, content. I'm going to create content. Well, what? Live content, video content, shorts, TikTok. There's a lot of different content, approaches you can take. Some try to do all of it. I never envisioned doing a live content. That was not in my purview when I started even conceiving this idea. Yeah. So that is just not my thing. And then I got into that program and we did lives every day. And I understood a little bit more the power of that and bringing in our chat and doing, these things. And you and I have done some shows already, and that has been really interesting to see the feedback of that. So I am a believer in the live approach, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I was like, I got to do this live thing. In fact, it would have been like, no way.
Right.
But when music kind of died on me, my last gig was March 7th of last year, event in New York. It was a stage show literally called Shelter in Place for an album called Shelter in Place. And no, it wasn't obviously written for that. It was written years in advance, and then put us on a plane home on that Monday after that. And then music died like everything else. Right. And so the quick of it is, so did a lot of other things like website building or any other tech that got a little bit weird. And it afforded me a chance to say, let's use the chaos a little bit, maybe to construct a different self, because I wasn't 1,000% happy with where I was at. I knew that I had other passions that were sitting on the shelf. And when I thought about, well, how do I want to, get those out or act on them, I realized a lot of that was going to be this push. And I did look into Twitch. I looked into some of these, and I've talked about this, Twitch, and we're not going to get into here, but for me, Twitch is probably not going to be around forever. But it's more of a gamer platform. And it's not a bad platform for gamers, a way, but for discovery of raw original content, it became clear that YouTube was the way to go. So I leaned into that, and that's where we're at. So,
like a lot of friends that I have that are, in the music biz, and they are musicians themselves. A couple of them, when they saw me getting rolling with some of the tech stuff. Now, same with me. I think we go back to about July or so. I made a decision that I wanted to start live streaming. And it was like something that I just kind of like stumbled on. And I was like, wow, this is more for me than it is for starting a YouTube channel even. And so I really enjoy streaming and I like the live content. So, but along the way, these other people that I knew, there's a few of them actually. And I was like, come with me, come on, let's do this, and it was hard. Yeah. It was hard for them. And I guess it's not an easy thing. Right. But I just kept on moving forward, and I didn't know where it was going to take me. And then all of a sudden, we ran across each other, and, we saw a few people really pushing hard with trying to do some stuff and be proactive and really get our messages out there. And then we kind of connected and we made it happen. I love it. I love looking at the comments, and you already got someone asking about the Go XLR. So
I saw that. I was going to put that up. I'll put that up there, but Is this true, Brian, that you actually did cobble shoes? Because you do look like someone who might have actually cobbled shoes at some point. I believe him. He's the kind of guy that would cobble shoes. His skill set is quite wide. He's kind of like us. We kind of get into everything. So I suspect he's going to come back with the I absolutely cobbled shoes. But I
He's
gotta.
multifaceted, right?
He kind of is.
Yeah. And actually,
Go ahead.
I was going to say he followed he was like checking out this YouTuber and he said, "Oh, check out this guy." And I actually subscribed to him. He's got like 1 million subscribers, but I never followed. Did you check it out?
I did. It's an excellent channel. I also subscribed right away. I'm like,
So
this
did
guy. This guy right here.
I was like, how many people act like that who have 1 million subscribers? I thought it was awesome.
No, I mean that's kind of stuff you want to really get into, because you've had discussions, which again is another discussion. Our skill sets and what we're learning, we're not trying to just do it for ourselves just to put out, we got to put out a film of ourselves playing with our dog. We really want to help people get their passion projects out, whether that be through streaming or recording or musical recording or audio recording or even, it could be anything along whatever it takes. The marriage of tech. And I had this discussion today that, if you really are honest with yourself, we all are straddling now these days. Even if you are not a freelancer, I would say we're all straddling so many different realms. And we have to be in tech. We got to be, creative. We have to know how to do finance or what. If you really break down and just even tech, I got to know how to get Netflix up for, this person. I have to email this, and I'm getting spammed here. How do I get my website up? Oops, sorry. There is just so many facets. This to get this up and running with the cameras and the lights and the nonsense for the interfaces is absolutely insane. I don't think a lot of people would do it if they knew ahead of time.
It is so much that I can't even tell you, because it creeps up on you. You start out and you're like, you're your own production, you're your own editor, your own lighting guy, you're your own audio guy, right? And then you got to learn how to get better and better with the camera. You got to learn how to do thumbnails. You got to learn. It creeps up on you, and by the time 10 months goes by, 8 months, and you're like, man, I am so fried from learning so much stuff that's new.
You're so energized. Yeah, you're so energized at first, right? You're like, this is, I can stay up all night and go down these rabbit holes of, and you do. And then you wake up one day going, if I look at another YouTube channel, my mind is going to explode. It's like a alien baby coming out of my head. But then another 24 hours later, you're like, I'd like to know more about overlays, like Sammy. Sammy's like, I've been doing, and I know he's been working on these overlays. I've seen him posting them, working them. And it's like any skill. It doesn't matter. I mean, we say it about this. If you were a fireman or you were a teacher, it's all the same. The skill sets are so much, but I look at a teacher, for example, look at the amount of tech and psychology and social constructs of awareness they have to have, maybe even legal awareness now to teach a kid in a classroom, or now we have them online and they have to set up a camera and deal with all that. We are all straddling so many different things that, that's where you and I have talked about. We want to bring this down to layman's terms. We want to help people find real solutions and champion them. We're not really here to strut our stuff or to flex that we know what a microphone is.
I mean, and to be honest with you, almost everything that I see out there too, right? They're very, I hate to say it, but it's true. I'm going to say it. when I'm going to say something opinionated when I say I hate to say it, but
it's a Jersey thing.
But the people are really opinionated about certain things, and I just think that there's a lot of things out there, and you have to find what can fit your needs. Okay. Yeah. I'll give you just a little tip of the iceberg, which can turn into a gigantic iceberg. Is, everyone talks about, you got to get a Sony camera. And I'm going to tell you right now, until you've looked at a Sony camera and its menu system, and you've looked at a Canon camera and its menu system, and you have to learn from scratch, and you need to get product out as fast as you can, and you're already burnt out by the tech. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a fact, that it is going to be much easier to grab a Canon camera and understand what you're doing on that touch screen and that menu system. Because when it comes right down to it, when you get frustrated, you're more apt to not push out product as fast because of the frustration factor. And this is just a little tip of the iceberg. And I'm not saying, that everyone would feel that way, but I'm just saying if you struggle with tech to begin with, there's two things, like Brian says: don't get a Blue Yeti, and don't cross out a Canon camera. So.
Yeah, well, we'll argue about that someday because I have a Sony. But I mean, you're right on the surface. For example, these are the discussions you want to have. Is it easy to use? Is it the right budget for you? Is it scalable? Is your tech threshold, best suited for this or that?
Right.
I'm willing to push a little bit harder because I like to know more, and other people just want the thing to work pretty simple, and they don't want to get friction. And that's the thing that we want to help people with is friction, right?
Right.
And
you get friction, then that's when you get, what is that called? When you get stuck from frictions, stiction or whatever. What is that called?
I have never heard of this. This is
because it causes like almost right. It binds up is what it is. And the thing is, if
road rash is what it is.
I've had road rash. If you get if you get bind up, that's when you start getting frustrated. And so there's a lot of different things that can make things a little easier. And like you said, how much tech do you know? How fast do you learn tech? And we can go on and on, right?
Well, it's nuanced, and you and I got real frustrated. We've been frustrated as we've looked at things online and other engagements where we're like, the problem is here, people are talking so down here, but they're not really into the nuance weeds, and everything is nuance because everything. And if it's better to take the time to explain to somebody and to listen to sometimes these nuances and to not get trapped. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you're at tech. This friction is there. I'm really good at tech, and yet I'm feeling pressure today to get set up for today. And certain new things that normally would be simple are starting to become pressure points for me because I'm stressed on time. And so that's kind of what you're saying. Now imagine if you're trying to put out a lot of content on YouTube consistently, man, and your camera, you can't figure out, and you're spending all your time on that. And I think that's what you're alluding to. Let's grease these wheels of tech a little bit so you can leverage that as opposed to being anchored.
Right.
So that part is what you and I have discussed and what we're building on part of this playlist of channel for me and for you. Roy is kind of Canon versus Sony, like Spanish. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. They'll get it done and they'll be almost the same at the other end. But to order your French fries is going to take quite a different approach.
But in the end, the product looks good on both, right? There's differences, but I'm talking about just ease of use for a beginner. That's all I'm talking about. I don't want to go into like if we can go right into, right? Do you really care about 120 frames per second? Do you really care about 4K? I mean, we could just go on and on, right? What is your budget? And so it's like, and you just said it. There's other factors and nuances that you have to look at, and this will help you make better decisions and actually, streamline yourself into a position to get things done on an easier way.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like to look at it like when you go in to help somebody, or if we're doing a comparison of these, that we look at it like an audit. We're going to go in and audit all the potentials from every angle, the pros, the cons, the budgets, the scalability, and the frustration factor. And you start getting into some other parts of the weeds here. And so that, ask why. I mean, I didn't get into it because I was having those problems per se, but I did learn a lot over many, many years. And of course, in this last course of this year to get my own stuff set up. Then I thought, let's just dive in here. And then you and I took off on this concept, and I'm excited for that. And so we can get into that and have chat yell about Sony versus Canon and Blue Yeti.
Oh, I love firing people up about stuff. So,
oh my God, this is Brian.
By the way, nice choice of mic, by the way, too.
Yeah, this is the one thing we will agree on right here. This is the pod mic tonight, and then maybe tomorrow we'll switch it up, and or Thursday we'll go somewhere different. But
right,
so I imagine you have your passions. I mean, the tech. that's kind of the focus, right? I want to get into tech and gadgets and reviews and comparisons, and we want to help people in real ways on chat. We want to talk at them and over them. We want to talk with them.
Right.
And we have talked about how we want to actually learn something as we go, because there's so much. If you look on the side here of this chat, I can tell you, except for a couple people or what, that there's a lot of skill here. There's a lot of people who know a lot of different things, and you and I could learn an awful lot along the way too.
Oh, absolutely.
By being open-minded and open ears in these chats. So we definitely want to make sure that that's
just people's opinions, because if you got something in your hand and you're actually using it every day, I mean, that is feedback from somebody about something that you haven't had in your hand. And so I always appreciate that factor. And you can't know everything. There is nobody, I don't care what they're doing. There's new product coming out all the time. And I mean, just like when I was talking about the Hollyland 400 wireless systems that are out, I was talking about this a few months ago, that I would love to pick one of those up. And now, more and more people are finding how great they are. But, it was only 6 months ago. I'm like, okay, let me find a 60-foot HDMI cord fiber. And this way I can run fiber, because if I ran a copper one, I wouldn't pick a signal up off of an A10 mini. So
we are the life of the parties with this kind of conversation, aren't we? We are here though. These guys here love it. That's the thing. And I got into a side discussion. I mean, on the subject, Brian Paul, I believe we were talking about shotgun mics recently, and he went out and did a test on some mics that he has.
Okay.
And I can't remember the model he has. He'll put it on here, but I think we were talking about a $299 version of it, which would have been, I think, the AT8015. And I think he had a prior version of that, but he ran some tests on it. And so today we kind of looked at the video, the results of them. We're like, oh my God, that $299 is competing really good against a $1,600 shotgun mic.
Is it a Rode NTG2?
Not the one he has.
Oh, okay.
No, he'll flip it on here, but the one the $299 was the AT8015, I believe. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. And, I'm like, I would like a shotgun mic, but I don't want to spend $1,600 on one. So I'm just saying that these are things that we can pass along and to each other. I didn't have that information. Absolutely. And I'm not going to go out and buy all those mics and be an audio. I'm not an audiophile. So that's not going to happen. Now, I would like to bring people on that I know, we've talked about this as well, that are very, very good at this, who have been doing this for a long time, and they're friends of mine. Some of them know I'm going to be inquiring on them, and some of them don't. And I think people here who are into mics and audio faces and softwares and DAWs and the music and all that stuff are going to be really excited to have these type of people around to take it up a notch into really good conversations in a fun way too. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know about you, but so the tech, kind of circling back. So the tech part of it. So he has the AT-A15B. I thought that's the precursor to another one I was looking at, which is the 80, and it probably is. It's not even important. But the bottom line is the comparisons and what you're going to use it for and all that. But for me, you asked about the why. So this you and I are into that. And I don't want to really get into details. We've talked about it. I have somebody on the side that I'm working with. I'm going to do a year-long project with, a grind as a musician on my quest as a musician, because I'm not giving that up. And I have spent an awful lot this past year doing things in silence in a studio to get better, because quite honestly, we've had the time. And I've made no bones about the years that I've spent working with probably the best tech guru around, and Bruce Becker. And I've also working now with a different cat as well here and there, James Payne. And that's not really important, but I'm looking forward to documenting some of these quests and kind of taking that thread as well. So there's some of this is mostly about tech and getting people going and doing these things and having fun. And then I imagine, like you, there's always that, you're always open to something that might be more of a passion project for yourself. Right. Sometimes that doesn't reveal itself right away, and that's okay. We're not going to force anything. So. Right.
So like some of your stuff's going to intertwine, right? Yeah. And there's going to be other things where we don't know where it's going to go yet. Like, to be really honest with you, I'm new with my channel, and I've had people suggest to me, if you're going to go out there and give suggestions on tech and for new YouTubers
Yeah.
and for new streamers, then make it known that that's what your intentions are. And I'm not really sure if that was my intentions, but it just seems to have been going there, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really good with the basic of tech, maybe beyond basic, right? Because I mean, when it came down to it this year, I wasn't going to drop, thousands of dollars for high-end computers. I built 3 of them. And then I went from there to, putting 2 studios together. And then from there, getting a Rodecaster, getting an A10 Mini, using the things that a lot of people use that don't have all the answers to everything yet. And I've been getting my own answers. So when people were telling me, like, you're going to have trouble with over 20 feet with an HDMI cord, with connection signals. And that's when I started looking for fiber optic ones. And you learn more. You and I don't want to tell everyone right now, but we learned something today that I've been looking for people that actually run the software couldn't give me an answer. So, there's things like this that unless you're in it and you're knee deep, you don't have the answers to everything.
Well, that's the thing. And look, we don't have to go down this whole thread of this psychological aspect of getting into this. As a musician, I saw a lot of similarities when I started firing up this concept. The difference of firing this up, though, as opposed to starting 20, 30 some years ago with music, is I honestly I just don't care. I'm at an age where I don't really care. Okay. But I saw a lot of similarities in some of the roadblocks, mostly in a psychological angle of it. And, when you start to do something new like this and put yourself out there, we've all had that discussion about, are we credible enough to do this? The old imposter syndrome, if that word's tiresome, but it also is true.
I have problems with that.
I know how valid our skill sets are. And what we learned quickly is our skill sets, all of our skill sets were more than enough because we all have something to say in our way that gets through to people. And we also learned that there isn't one subscriber for one person. That we're not in competition, which is why we kind of jumped into this together, and we've benefited from that growth. But yeah, doing is where you learn.
Right.
Okay. And failing is where you learn. Yeah. And if you're not failing, you're either not practicing or you're not progressing. So I feel like we're in a good spot here. We have a very good understanding of where we want to be. And we've all had to work very hard to get to this place where we're comfortable with it. We're all sitting here going, oh, we got to explain this. How are we going to explain this to our in-laws? How are we going to explain this to our cousin?
Right.
And then we look back and we're like, who cares? I don't care. I mean, first of all, you can't explain it. And then the other question is, why should you, right? It's not a diss on them. It's just nobody else is explaining their job to us. And this path anybody can take. No one is stopping anybody from taking this path. It's just that, you either do it or you don't. And if you're not going to do it, that's cool. Hopefully you'll support and we give you something of value or other people of value as we go. There's no hidden agenda here. I am not out trophy hunting for subscribes and likes. I don't care. But I do want to put out good content.
I mean, that comes anyway. That comes with giving value, and that comes with people supporting you and your cause. And that doesn't come by people, you don't get that kind of attention from anybody until you prove those points. Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be talked about, because if people feel motivated for it, they're going to do it.
Well, it's right up there with people will ask somebody who's a musician, like, right away, are you famous? Have you won a Grammy? It's like, can you give me a minute? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to get out here and do things. And that's a weird question anyway, because if you really understood the industry, you do because of your dad, it's a weird barometer to rate musicians. For example, it would be a Grammy, and are you famous? Do you make a lot of money? It's so weird.
If anyone knows about Milli Vanilli, let's just go there.
Well, yeah. And the truth of it is, like music, I'll tell anybody who wants to get in music, and I can tell you it's the same here. If you want to do this, you better do it because you love it. You love the content. You like the path and the process, and you have a passion for it, just like music, or it's dead on arrival. There is no point in going one step further, because if you think fame and money is what you're trying to get, you're not probably going to get it. Okay. That's
And
just,
if you get it, you might not know what to do with it.
yeah. I mean, I suppose there's always that. No, they're going to give me that aberration of a TikTok person who did, who sniffed glue or something and they became famous. I'm like, well, there's always that. But
I'm just saying, because people, if your intention is just about getting rich and getting to that point and getting famous, then usually your intentions in the end aren't really, they're really not in the right direction. And you usually make a lot of improper decisions with that kind of fame and that kind of attention, because it really has to be reeled in at that point, because life becomes unrealistic.
yeah, I mean, everything has its problems. And the truth of it is you don't want to like really dig too deep into this because it can sound almost defensive and you don't want to do that, or negative. And I don't want to do that. But I think it's some awareness about it and just having an honest conversation with yourself about the why, as you put it, because the why would be the most critical part of it. And I was so easy when we met. We both knew our why. Our why was we just love what we're doing. We love to talk about it. We love to help people figure it out. There's a certain joy in teaching other people. Yes, there are people who enjoy teaching people the stuff
And the human interaction, and we're just rolling with things, like nothing. It doesn't have to be all planned out perfect. It was like it can just roll, like it's rolling into shotgun mic talk, and it's just rolling into whatever it becomes, and that is awesome stuff.
Yeah, we've had some really fun, amazing conversations outside. As we rolled off of some tech talk, and we just let chat roll. And we've got relationships going, people we've never met, so that's fun. I mean, it's all of that. It's contact. It's reaching out. It's hanging out with other creatives, and a lot of these creatives are doing different things. Some may be in the film, some are people who want to put out their Reiki. There are some people who do sewing and crafts and amazing stuff. At the bottom line, they all need the same output mechanisms and flows to get it out there. They need help. I mean, let's all someday have a mental breakdown together about audio routing and streaming. Okay, because audio
everybody has a message, right? But everybody has to get, if they're going to think about streaming or YouTube, we all have to go through the same struggles.
We all do. And that's the thing. And that's where a lot of connections are made. And what you want to do is stay in those connections. So you and I have talked about, we had a thing last week about community building and what was important to us. And there are some bad ways to do community building. And our community, we definitely want our community to be people who do not feel they have to lurk in the shadows. They feel they can come in. There isn't a bad question to be asked, and that they're a part of the party. They're not somebody going into a room and sitting in the corner and they don't feel like they belong. There's a whole thing to that. But yeah, we talked about building the circular chat room or community where nobody has a corner and they don't feel like that they got to find and seek that corner out. And part of that is for us too. Like I easily could do that. I'm an introvert. I've got, you'll hear about this a lot, but I have massive anxiety and depression. And so, I totally get it. But I think that's what makes us very empathetic about people that have those tendencies. And this is just a very tough thing to get into when you have anxiety and imposter syndromes and doubts and voices, and you don't have anybody to, buddy up with and to kind of do that. And all of us have been kind of doing that. And then we're meeting new people who are doing that. And that's been really awesome. Yeah.
Right. I mean, listen, everybody has some doubt going down the road, like it is a roller coaster ride being a YouTuber, or, for that matter, life is a roller coaster ride. Right. So it's just, the best you can surround yourself with people with like interest and like attitude and just want to go after getting stuff done. That's going to make you move forward. I don't want to be stuck on the ground trying to fly. It's just like, I need to get out there and roll with it. And like you said, if I fail, I fail. But if you're not out there trying, you don't know anything. And be honest with you, I've done that too much already in my life. So.
Yeah. And the idea that, and this gets beyond even, content streaming and going down this path. Again, I didn't get into this for live, which I got to tell you, for all of us that are doing it, and I can tell you everybody that I see for the most part on here has done it. There's a lot goes into this in prep, but it's not easy.
No.
And I'm a multitasker at heart, and I'm ambidextrous as a drummer, but there is a lot of Frankenstein parts moving at one time. And then you have to go, there's no blueprint, there's no teleprompter. And I'm not like whatever, but it takes a lot to get on here and talk to people and do this. And we want to make sure everybody else feels comfortable. And as you and I move forward, we have some things that will be planned, and we want to make sure everybody understands that is the community plan. I have dipped in, and I can see a handful of people here that, you know, I have reached out to help in the behind the scenes, and some of them helped me.
Right.
And that has got to be how this is, whether it's through this community or just in life. And maybe if it's nothing else, we're just helping people.
You better throw some comments up.
I'm going to. I see them. I want to just cover this real quick. Nope, that's not the one. Let me back up. I wanted to finish this thought.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer that question?
So to be really honest with you, Brian, I just think it intrigues me. You know, like first things I was thinking is if I can learn how to use this all, you know, which I think I can pretty easily. I think it's from there, really push the whole thing that has been happening is the whole outside streaming thing. I think once musicians and people, they can utilize this. Could you imagine like a local bar or a local theater or whatever has like something going on, and they can show you the action of the line outside of something that's going to start, or a bar, there's going to be a band on, and they can go and talk, and they can show a set of a band and, you know, show the energy of what's going on. And then I feel like at that point, it could increase their business perhaps, you know? So I think it could be like a really good tool for people that are looking to go outside of the box to really bring something. Like, who's going to jump on Facebook and then you find out your local area, this or that, is streaming outside, you know, wirelessly, and just being able to show that content. So I was like, I just like would love for $550 right now is what they're going for. I just thought it would be like an amazing thing to learn and be able to say, I have experience with it. That's it.
Yeah. But that's a joy that we have with that, as everybody else does here as well. Where we want to just get in and play with it, and then we want to share that information. And that's how we learned. Those people did that for us, and we're going to do that, but we're going to do it in our voice. And we've got some cool stuff.
But wouldn't it be awesome if you had like a local restaurant and they walked outside and it was live? Come on in tonight after you guys go out. Stop. We have these specials. And I like, it could be so simple, or you can really take it to the next level. I just think it would be so cool if I saw that. I'd be like, wow, that's outside of the box.
Let's just stop for a second too and talk about Lala.
Go ahead.
At the Mommy Guide Inc. We met.
Working hard. She's working.
She's working so hard, and she's, if I'm not mistaken, she's in the Philippines.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I know she's homeschooling kids down there, I believe, and just going through the whole show. She's not just super mom, she's super person, super this, super that. Yeah. And she ran the problems down there. We have talked. I am going to go on at some point and do some online drum instructions for the kids, but you know, she had some routing issues, and it's been a joy to see her start to tackle those, and people have reached out to help her. And but again, she's working so hard, and I saw her channel coming along, and we're championing that. And she's so right. It's not just all talk. There's just so much that goes into this kind of prep. And again, getting back to like teachers just don't show up and stand at the board and it just falls out of their file cabinet.
Yeah.
They have to prep so much. I mean, they do probably more work outside of school than they do inside of school.
Wow. My wife's a teacher. I saw how much she's done this year with technology and putting things together, putting like virtual classrooms together. I mean, it was all new, and that's a lot of work. Yeah.
It's insane. And Ellie, how you doing? I hear you planted some bamboo. Really? I heard you got some cautionary tales on the bamboo, but you went with it, and I know that you feel like you got it controlled. But it's exciting to see, and I didn't hear, I think, about a greenhouse maybe too. So we're gonna have to dip in on that. But it's good to see. It's good to see you. I appreciate you stopping in to say hi. And this is
thank you.
One of my favorites here. Of course, Roy's got some nuggets.
Yeah, I was watching his stream just prior to going live with us. Yep. Yeah,
it's a great time. And you know what? People say that it's funny, and then some people say it's snarky. The truth of it is, if it's a long-term plan you're looking for, just like just like stocks, you got to play the long game here. There really isn't an overnight success with YouTube and their algorithms and the way this thing works. If you do want to be a content creator, the first thing you got to know is this is going to be a long game. And it is a little bit like stocks, wouldn't you agree, where you have to really put in the time and the consistency and be patient.
Well, that's funny because I was just talking about this a little bit today with the neighbor, and I was saying, because I want to just listen to this, right? Because this is the kind of stuff that blows my mind, right? This is why I overthink everything. So we work our whole lives, right? And we save money. A lot of us hopefully try to save money through a pension, through some kind of plan, through work. And we entrust the people that are with those plans to help us make good decisions, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I would say 95% of the people I know entrust those types of people to make those decisions. And you know who I am, right? Because I'm the 5%.
Right.
I do not. And I think it is your responsibility to know where your money goes and how it grows and what you do with it to benefit yourself. And if you want to put your head in the sand, then all you have to do is look at yourself, because these people are fed a bunch of garbage to follow, right? Because if you just take everyone's money and you were to do nothing but put it in an S&P 500 fund, you would gain X amount of percentage a year. And you follow these stringent rules to not go outside the box. But there's more to that, and that's not my point. But the thing is I always think that if you want to be invested in something and you're putting the time in, then you need to be responsible for your actions of putting forth what you're doing. And when you start being honest with yourself about what it is, then the clarity comes a little bit more, and then you can get a little bit. I mean, because this is a roller coaster ride. I mean, everybody who's here is coming.
But stocks are like that too, right? So or a job. I mean, I've been through that myself personally.
There's signs, So the market sign was the 10-year bond inverted, right? And like a year and a half.
Yeah, let's not get these people on. I don't want to turn this into Bitcoin talk. Although it might.
Bitcoin.
Are we talking about Bitcoin? Help me out with this. I'm so down.
I can talk about Bitcoin if you want to, but I'm just saying.
I do not want to talk about Bitcoin.
The 10-year bond inverted, and that is a clear signal that there's going to be a down market. Right. And most people don't do anything. They just stay in the market. So as the market drops, and then they just come up with it. That's fine. But
now that you've chased off all but one person. No, I'm just kidding. What you're saying is true. And I'll just put it this way. There are ways we know, and we've talked about that. You need, obviously, the best course of action is to nurture your nugget. And it's no different with YouTube. There are ways to nurture your nugget and take accountability for your nugget. There are tools. Wow, we can get into YouTube Buddies and vidIQ to look at analytics,
right?
Watch competitors, watch people who are similar content, watch what's failing in your own deal, A/B testing thumbnails. It can go on and on. You can analytic, but you got to be responsible for that. Like it's work. It is a little bit like a broker does, where they're looking at trends. So to your point, to do this right, but again, that's my point. It's a long game. You don't
learn that in a heartbeat.
You don't learn it in a heartbeat, and you can't see the trends until you get educated on it. So we're all, we're learning. We know a lot, but again, we're going to learn more and more.
Once you live through a cycle, then you have an idea, right? Because if you live through a bubble of any sort, you know how a bubble reacts and how it grows, and you could see these signs. And then, but we're all starting out in an era in YouTube where everybody was consuming so much YouTube. And now we're going to go through probably the opposite as summer hits, and things are going to slow down because people are just loving the fact that they can get outside.
Right. And we have to know how to pivot those seasonal things in those downs. And just, again, it's whether it's a musician or we're talking about seasonal things with markets, there are a lot of, we can all pull in different things. Our teacher, again, who, summers, usually they're not teaching as much. So it's a different road for them. And they get paid usually 9 months out of the year. I think people understanding they get 12 months.
Comments up.
I'm going to put comments up.
You're a little bit further behind than me.
Here's the thing. I'm not behind. John is historically behind 10, 15 minutes, if not a lifetime.
Holy cow.
Here's the thing. But a lot of these, I want to put this up just because I saw Roy and the age of creators. And you know what? Let's be honest. It is the age of creators. we have these tools we never had before that everybody, again, from musicians to teachers to plumbers to anybody.
Plumbers
I mean,
too?
we see it all over. It's great, huh?
Plumbers too?
Well, not all of them. Plumbers are making so
my
much money these
father-in-law.
days. I don't know if they really need to be screwing around with this kind
My
of stuff.
father-in-law, by the way.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, see.
Master plumber.
Let's look at the, you know what? I don't want to get too techie tonight, but the NDI is your friend to do the wireless and mic. Have you done the NDI much?
Yeah, but that doesn't work for the stuff that I'm talking about. You know,
No,
it's,
no.
like it's good up to a point, right? If you want to walk around your house, your backyard to an extent, but like the Hollylands, they'll go 4 or 5, even 600 feet, you know? So I could be up at the corner of the, you know, block. I'm going to do block parties. That's my thing.
No one's going to invite you to a block party.
No, but I can crash them and I'm going to film it.
Do a TikTok of you crashing through the little, you know, they put the little,
guys, you can't
No.
put me out of here.
they got a little sawhorse at the end of the block. You know, they always put the sawhorse with the little
Yeah.
little flags, and you're just going to walk right through it because you're such a
Yeah.
monster of a guy. You're like big, and
Here comes John Ryan's going to eat all the cheeseburgers
it
again.
it kind of reminds me of the Ghostbusters Marshmallow Man just coming through the
Whoa,
block.
whoa.
Well, I
The
mean,
more-
you know, you're a little more buff and you have more hair than him,
I'm not
but
buff
I'm just
anymore. I'm old, but Brian says, should we just hold the crypto?
yeah. I want to say about the NDI. My take on it. It
Yeah.
works pretty good if you're on a great network
Yes.
and you have a dedicated, intranet. I've had, but the lag for me outside of that hasn't been something I've enjoyed. But you know, again, people have different.
Yeah, but it's good for a lot of stuff, right? So
It is. I mean, he's right. He's absolutely right. And if you do it right, you can get some things done. Okay, Brian. All right, Brian. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about this.
Why
garbage.
is Brian in the crypto? He likes crypto. Do you know?
He looks like a guy who secretly is holding a lot of cryptocurrency, doesn't he? He looks like the guy who's like $1 million in crypto but lost his password.
Yeah, that poor guy.
That guy.
Hey, listen,
Oh, my-
people have been laughing for 10 years, so that's all I can tell you. You know, these people have been laughing and laughing. No one in their right mind, even when it hit 20,000 2 years
I
ago,
know.
3 years
I
ago,
know.
never thought it would hit at $64,000. So
No, not at all.
I know where it's going. So
Well, you know, because you know everything. And that's why, you know, you're on the other end of this.
listen, it's exhausting, brother. It's
I
exhausting.
know. It's hard being you.
No one
Gosh.
trusts you. No one wants to think you're right. And then what am I going to
And Roy, let's just all be honest. He's right. Don't day trade your retirement. Play with house money, but don't play with your own money. I mean, that's just kind of my take on that.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's in here. Let's see here. Never call
Yeah,
me
there's
again.
Robert. Yep.
Yeah.
Robert,
Nice
how you
to see you.
doing?
I'm glad you crashed the party. It was, I believe he may have been my first sub.
Really?
It wasn't you. I don't think you subbed until like the last 24 hours, if that.
I hold out because I could use it for other, you know. Oh, you need number 20. And then I just,
Oh, you want to be the trigger guy. You're the milestone guy.
yeah,
But
if
you know
make
who
me
I
the
really
overlay.
the guys who come in early, like Robert here, giving me some love. So, you know,
There's Ash.
yes. And I've seen your guys' streams. It's been great. And wow, she's really
Yeah, she's
come
doing
along.
Great. She's
Yeah.
doing fantastic. Very
Yeah,
proud
she's-
of her.
You know, again, she's new, but I'm already looking and going, oh, it's influencing because she's ahead of me in some things. And I really like her presentation.
Yeah.
And you guys' interviews are great. And, you know, people get into that. If you find these people, you know, put your stuff down in the comments afterwards so people can find you. I'm a big believer in that. Share your information in your channels. A lot of us know each other, so it's great. Poor Brian. I'm just going to put it out. He missed out. He totally would be that guy. I think to lose his password.
What do you mean you missed out? What is that? How did you miss
Yeah.
out?
Is there really a market for new people to get in crypto and make money though? Really? Come on.
Well, you gotta wait because just take a look what happened. Right now, it was down to 42 today, so you kind of like gotta see where it's going.
This stuff bores me so much.
Bores you?
I don't know.
You know,
I
the whole concept behind it is amazing. It's about freedom.
No, I know what the concept is, but maybe
Yeah.
freedom bores me on some level. Gonna have to investigate this.
I just think it's amazing, to be honest with you, because the whole concept is like not, you know, not about having a government owned money that is possibly, look how many governments held up their money to be,
I know.
worth X amount of dollars. I mean, people have been saying it about the dollar for 30
I
years. The
know.
only thing that keeps us rolling is that the fact that we can dig ourselves out of a hole fairly quick because we are so advanced. But
You know what? For you, some boy, I'll research a little bit more, and we'll have a show dedicated to this where we can just
well, I
sidebar
don't know if we're ready
discussion.
for that.
Well, we don't have to go live. We could just stream to ourselves and record, and you can watch it later.
Brian's got all the crypto. I don't have it. So
Brian doesn't have the password for the crypto. So we're closing an hour. I don't want to drag this on too long. I don't know if there are any topics you want to finish up with, but I feel like this has been a good open house, a good way to end, kind of get everybody invested in what's happening. This is my studio here.
Yeah, it looks great. I think the background came out really nice. I love the way you got a lot of color going on. It just looks great.
Yeah, I'm working on some pods to do different things in. I do want to record some drum things and some overheads and some foot cams. And as I go through that quest, I'll do that. I've got another section over here, but I like this for my, just to kind of Sammy, I think, was it Sammy or somebody asked about the Go XLR? I'm using the Go XLR, and you and I are going to have a Go XLR Rode Podcaster breakdown.
Yeah, I think we're going to we might spend the whole week on it. We might do
Yep. Yeah. I think we got a big thing going on, and I'm really looking forward to that. And we've got some, I think we got some fun stuff coming up that not just fun, but I think it's going to be helpful. And that's always the more fun, right?
I can't wait to the episode when you shave your head. That's going to be awesome.
Jesus. It would even be better. That you shaved your head before getting on tonight?
Oh, I did. I did it this. Yeah, I did this.
What time did you do it? Because you texted me and you said, "Oh, I shaved for the show."
No, I shaved this. I did this in the morning, and then I did this. Yeah, for tonight.
Jesus.
See how much sun I got? I mean, this is all it takes, and all of a sudden I'm red.
You can wear a hat. It's okay if you can wear a hat. You should get one of those hats from like Australia that look pretty cool. Get the right sunglasses, maybe get a little thing to carry a wallaby.
Oh, that was continuous conversation. Aaron, he was asking it. He's the one that saw the Go XLR right on.
Oh, yeah. I am so sorry. I got the wrong person. Yes.
Yeah.
We actually played around a little today with some things, and we're really stoked about getting into. You want to talk about it? No. I'm stoked about talking about it though. I like the idea of getting into it, and I like the idea of doing a side-by-side comparison in real time. And then having people come on and have those questions. I think that could really get some answers for people. But what was funny is as we were doing it, you and I were answering some questions, and one part of it was you answering a question we couldn't even get people like StreamYard to answer on this whole problem with the sound. And so this is just a great way for you and I. And I know you hate the term Stream Buddy. I said today Stream Buddy, and I thought he was going to have a seizure, but I know you don't like it.
It's a little creepy.
I'm going to get a t-shirt that says Stream Buddies, and there's going to be a circular face with you and a circular face with me.
By the way,
and we could hold hands.
Aaron also just started his YouTube page, like in the channel in the last month. So there's another person, along with us, that is growing and putting themselves out there and doing a great job, And even Sammy, like I've seen Sammy lately. He's actually, streaming. He's talking about things. He seems really excited about putting some things together, and he's really moving forward with some things that I think are going to be great for him. And by the way, the Carrie Moreau here, this is my sister, and she is in soon to be in Florida for good from Arizona.
I was just getting ready to jump on that. Before I did that, I wanted to cover this thing with Sammy, and I don't know what he really means by drum overlay, but if you want me to do an overlay with some drum stuff, I actually can do that. I built my overlays today in Photoshop and put them up, and something I like to do. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to do some drum overlays. And if you have any input on what you want to see, man, let me know. And
I have to do everything in Canva because it's just for me.
Canva's great. I think there's a little more for me. There's a little more.
You're good with the other
latitude
stuff.
With the photo on Illustrator. I like using Illustrator for a lot of things. But at the end of the day, there's a joy to taking that stuff, and Canva's great. You know what I mean?
For what it is, it works really well for me. And there's a lot of tricks that you can do on Canva, and I'm not versed at using, that kind of stuff that you got.
Well, I mean, you're gonna help me with Bitcoin, and I'm gonna help you get
Oh,
some
you are?
I'm gonna,
I don't know about that.
I'm gonna say- so
Look,
okay,
Brian's making fun of you right there. Yeah.
Stream Buddies. Now,
Yeah.
everybody give me a thumbs up. Tell me that Stream Buddies is a T-shirt with our little heads, and we're holding
No.
hands like you would at the zoo, and then we're looking at a cage of monkeys. So we're at the zoo. You have buddies at the zoo when your kids in class, and you had to hold hand. We're going to be Stream Buddies, but maybe we'll be looking at a monitor.
Is this whole thing about the tame your streamer? Is this about trying to tame me? I'm from Jersey. Are you trying to make me like a little bit softer, and I got to be a little bit, nicer and stuff like this?
I got a hard no from her.
I'm really harsh.
See, you could tell that's a New Jersey response. I don't care for that one. So we're going to delete that comment. I'd like to see a little more Midwest comments like, a guy from Indianapolis, like Brian Paul. He gets Stream Buddies. He understands that. Let's see. We got anybody else? Oh, yeah. Here we go. I just want to get back to that. Yes. A lot of people's lives are Canva. And I tell you what, building the thumbnails is really nice in Canva. Well, again, though,
and she does a lot of, she puts promotions together for a pretty big company. So
yeah, it's a pro deal, man. It's not like some layman little platform.
No, it is pretty amazing what you can do. But for me, like it's all new to me in the last probably 8 months. So
you're doing great with it. I think for me, with my templates, I'm almost better doing Photoshop maybe at the moment, but I think I'll use both in Illustrator. But I think over time, maybe when I have enough assets, and that's another thing, another thing I want to get into, 2 things that we don't talk about enough: cable management.
Oh, that's funny you said that, because
let me finish.
Okay,
and file management.
Okay.
Both really there are some great tools and approaches for both, and not just file management, how to name files and all that.
I could use that myself, even though I clean up things, like everything gets cleaned up, but I could be a little bit more organized with what's going on. But
sure.
I actually remember I told you I was looking into using my cell phone to show you around the room.
Yes.
Okay? And so I wanted to show when I finish a little bit, and even if I don't finish, I wanted to show my cable management underneath my desk, because I think most people would be pretty impressed considering how many cables I have in general. So I did put together some cable management underneath my desk to not have things look like they exploded, so.
I've got some cable management things here that I'll do a before and after on. So I bought something that wasn't as expensive. I want to try it out, but cable management is another nightmare for people. But file management is also a much of a nightmare I want to get into. Yeah. Things like bullet journaling is a way to, and using Trello maybe to set up your editorial boards and your scheduling. Some really free, nice tools you can use. I just want to, first of all, can you give me the name again of Continuous Conversation? Because I don't want to just call.
That's Aaron. Yeah, that's Aaron. Not Aaron with the Jeep. He doesn't have a Jeep.
Okay.
He yells at me every time. I'm done with that.
So Aaron, I think you got the answer. But yes, I think the answer is it depends on your skill set. I actually find it easier to use Photoshop and Illustrator for what I want to do. And to get the layerings I want and just send it out. That works better for me. But at the same time, if you don't have the Photoshop Illustrator skills, you're going to get the same result using Canva really in the same, I think, quicker if you don't have the skill set. So it just depends it goes back to what is the threshold of skill that you want to have. You know what? We're going to do a thing on Photoshop versus Canva. And I think that would be a good thing to do at some point. So I'll put that on my pin board to do that.
Canva.
Huh?
I just learned how to get the glow around somebody like 3 weeks ago.
We should do? We should do an on live thing where we have to do an image and you use Canva and I use Photoshop, and we see how fast it takes to do.
No, nothing is fast for me with that stuff.
I know that's going to be great because I'll win.
Just want to show me.
See here. I do good with cable management with labels and everything, but the files, nada. The files get away from people really quick. And then we're not even talking about people who go, you know what, my HDD will last, my SDD will last forever, and then it doesn't, and then they're like, oh god.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm good, right? Because I'll swap out stuff sooner than average people because I don't, I'm not going to trust it. I'm not that person that's like puts all their I'm the guy that used to save them, and this is how I got into tech. Is my family, it's like all of a sudden what goes bad, right? It's the section of the hard drive that contains the operating system, right?
Yep, exactly.
So then I would take the drive and the operating system would be nil at that point, but I was able to get into folders that just had the pictures and I would be able to save their pictures and I would be like a freaking hero.
Oh yeah, I've done that hero job, and then I'll go home. I can't find out where my assets are for a website or something I was building for a client. That's always fun. Because again, the cobbler has his children have the worst shoes kind of thing. Absolutely. I know how to do file management, and yet I don't follow the practices as well because I'm too busy helping other people with, say, file management or other things. And so that's something we want to, oh, wait a minute. Just want to clarify a little infight in here. She's going to go Sopranos on you and going
to. Well, that's good.
Says here, this is an interesting question. Should I put my name in the channel name?
If I had to go, okay, you want to say this first?
No, I want to hear your answer. I think
all right, because I think if I were to do things different, I might have put my name in there. I call it CTT, which is Coffee Talk and Tech, because I already had a plan. Like, are you down with CTT? I was thinking t-shirts. I'm going to be like, are you down with CTT? And then I'm going to put Coffee Talk and Tech underneath, so I had like these thoughts
Stream buddies on the side.
And plus, but I think like, a lot of times you can't go wrong because then you don't pigeonhole yourself with a topic in a name. You know what I mean? So kind of like you can go and put something, and that is part, when people, and I think I've told you this, when people put something like lifestyle in their YouTube channel, that is basically saying, I have no friggin' idea what I'm going to make my YouTube channel about.
That's some broad content, which is something, I'll be honest with you, as I started tonight, I went, man, I'm worried my content's going to be too broad, but we've had this discussion. I've talked to other people who are creators who said, nah, man, you're good. And let this stuff work itself out over time.
And you can niche down as you go, right? So,
Now let me ask you though, why can't you just change your channel? Are you afraid Are you afraid to pivot right now? I'm asking you, are you afraid to pivot on your name right now and go?
Because I think I'm trying to find my own direction too, right? Because I'm only 32 so videos in and maybe 10 or 15 streams. And so like, I'm trying to find my way too, because I'm not absolutely positive of where I'm going. And I want to let things play out a bit and see where it goes. And, and that's why I named it Coffee Talk and Tech, because I kind of felt like it gave me some flexibility to not pigeon my whole thing on tech, which I want to broaden it out a little bit. If I wanted to talk about YouTube or I wanted to talk about streaming, I could go anywhere with it.
Well, okay. Now you're going to put doubt in my mind, but I went with Drum Up Studio because
but that's,
some people are like, oh, it might be too much on target. Considering it's not really about drums. I got drums sitting behind me. I got a kit over here. I've got kits over here, drums everywhere. It's not really about that. And again, it's really hard to explain in the course of an hour what your life has been and your interest. I know Sammy over here asked, do you make websites? I had a website network solutions company for over 20 years. I still build massive websites. Most of them are e-commerce online teaching now. But so my drum up idea was I'll just drum up innovation, information, and awareness and passion. Like, it's drum up. Let's drum up. It's not about let's everybody pick up sticks and play. I did worry that was going to be a thing, but I think over time that takes care of itself. I think people understand as you beat. Oh God, I was going to say as you beat the drum, as you really, as you go through repetition and build your brand. I think people get it. So I don't know, but then there's sometimes like, we'll just put the J Smith on there and move along.
Right. Well, okay. But I also see that like once you define some roles in your page, then you can go and make these playlists, right? So
Yeah.
when people are questioning about what it is, then you have these playlists that go right down and grouping things,
Right.
and people can clearly see. And
Yeah.
if you don't do stuff like that, that's where people might get confused for a while until they look at things on your page.
And I don't, unless I understand it, I don't see any algorithm hits using playlist. Have you? I haven't really, I mean, I've looked, I haven't really seen anybody saying, oh, if you use playlist. I mean, there's more danger in having maybe a bunch of channels laying around that you're not doing, but as opposed to having a extra playlist.
Well, oh, what is it, bad or good, you're saying?
Well, yeah. Does the algorithm punish you for having, but I don't think so, because
No.
I've seen people with millions of subscribers and views.
No, what the people that are smarter than us, like D Nimmin and Nick Nimmin, they'll say, put these playlists together, and this, because say you pick someone up on something to Go XLR, right?
Yeah.
Now that's why they came to your channel. They're more apt to go and watch another video if you put it in the end, right?
Yep.
Or if you put a link of if you did something else with the Go XLR, and then you get people jump on playlists. So you can actually pick a topic of something like the Rodecaster or the Go XLR, and then your whole thought process should be, maybe I'm going to build a whole playlist around this with 4 or 5 videos.
Yeah, I mean, if you grow a playlist that needs its own value because it's getting so big or just so out there, and it has that pressure, then fine. Then people have talked about how they've done that successfully, and some have failed. But I think in lieu of that, the playlists take care of a lot of that. I don't think we need to be running around creating 19 playlists. Let me just
channels for that matter.
Or 19 channels is what I mean. I'm sorry, I didn't mean playlist.
Okay.
So you could. I actually like this idea. How about talking tech with John Ryan? You need your head with glasses on. I like that.
I've seen that.
And then Brian said I'd buy that. Yeah, I mean it's been done.
Yeah,
but you do have a unique,
it's actually done by someone who's pretty popular too.
Yes,
so.
I know. It's a little bit danger doing that cloning.
That would be weird. So.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. Drum with Jay Smith, I suppose. I don't know. I think that will. Although I guess my one question to be is, like, I don't think you have your Vanity YouTube channel name, right? Did you after you get your?
Yeah, I have it. I didn't do anything so like fancy or anything.
Well, what did you do?
I don't know. It's just something like John Ryan or something.
Oh, okay.
Or Coffee Talk or something. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you.
I couldn't tell today. So I mean, it's just one of those things.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Trying to find it for you.
I'm not sure I want to be adding my name at the end. Continuous conversation, Aaron, or by Aaron. Yeah, that's a little tongue twisty. I think it's because of the continuous conversation. I think from my standpoint, I think staying with that, but it is something, I don't know. No one knows my name either if I use Drum Up Studio. So,
yeah, I mean, see, that's why, like, in my banner, I put Coffee Talk and Tech with John Ryan. So I think it covered the base. It's basic, and I think it just covers who I am. Then you got you have a picture of a camera and you got some coffee. So it's pretty simple, right? And so with that, plus I'm not a big fan, and I think most people will say this, and before I got people's opinions, I didn't put a bunch of links to every single social media, because listen, I'm telling you, the best chance for you to, make some money out of anything is usually going to be YouTube. And so you want to be funneling people here.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a big fan of having a bunch of social media that is going to push people away from.
No, you got to be careful with that. So let's finish this up. Do you have a straight up answer for Roy on why you can't edit his cards at end scenes immediately after the stream is finished? I don't know the exact answer, but I would assume it's compiling and putting into a single file that you can't be edited anymore at that point, right?
I think what it is that the video is being processed. Like,
that could be.
A lot of times they have the SD gets out quick, and then the HD doesn't get out there till the next day, even when you do a live stream.
Yeah, it's true.
Once that's finished, then you can put a comment down below, and then also you can put an end screen usually.
Okay, well, listen, we're at 1:18. We're a little longer. I wanted to go, but I want to say, thank you.
Short.
You want to go longer? Okay, we can go long.
If people have questions, we're 10:18.
we're at 118. If people have questions and you
Your
want to hang,
stream.
it is my stream, and if I
Oh.
want to end it, I'm going to pull the plug.
I just
Brian, you know what, Brian? He's right. Good artist borrow, great artist steal. My own thing is I don't mind the influence. That's how it works. But you and I both know there's a danger to looking like you're just drifting too deep into certain people and following. I don't know. There's a fine line there. And it comes down to what we want to do. I want to make my own way. So I don't want to, and it's no one's really original.
But he's right. Like to a certain point, see, that's the problem that I find, right? Is people always feel like, they're stealing from somebody else because they might say something about information. That information's out there. It's out there. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows that there's capture cards. Everybody knows that there's certain cameras that are good. And
True.
You're not stealing. That's just information. So I don't like if you literally want to go and take oh, thank you. That's nice. So then if you literally want to go and take something from somebody that's like clearly yours, that's a different story. But if you're recycling, put it this way, you go to Harris Heller today, he did a video on this new audio interface that has like a stream deck built in with, did you see that?
No, I know what he's doing, but
yeah, so he's got this thing that's made by Behavioral Media, okay, which them, they do capture cards and stuff. So he's got this new thing that they're building that came out that's like a stream deck / switcher, okay. And so he was talking about it, and then literally within a minute or two, there's 2 other people that came out with a video talking about it also. So
that's happening, and I mean, and then that's what you're supposed to do, but that's a little bit different, don't you think, than a logo or getting too close to a presence. Huh?
Right. Yeah, I agree. Once you start taking
the content's free, the content's open season. You can do it whatever the hell you want. Right. No one owns this content or when it gets put out. And no one owns that idea. I think it's a great idea. I know who you're talking about, and I know that that's been done quite a bit. And yet it works. And your community now, maybe it's a timing issue. Maybe certain place down the road, you're like, I'm pulling a trigger. I'm going with this graphic now. We talked about timing and milestones and how sometimes that will make a trigger about where you want to go. And then maybe you just hate the idea down the road.
I mean, some of the biggest companies in the world have literally taken things for cheap and stolen some of their ideas and ran with them and made them big. I mean, listen, here's the thing.
And you're not stealing. It's your image with your glasses. It's not like you're stealing.
Oh, I'm talking about that. Well, that's whatever. But I'm saying it's when you look at yourself, do you feel good about what you're doing? You know? And that's the most important thing, because if you don't really feel good about it and then that you're doing something that's uncomfortable, then that's when you should question yourself about whether or not you're stealing an idea or a topic. But as far as YouTube, I mean, there's so many people out there with all the same ideas. And, that's when you start worrying about things, is when you go and look at everybody else's, what they're doing, when you just focus on doing your thing.
Yeah, I think that's probably, I'm going to change this up a little. That's really big, isn't it? I don't think I like that.
Thank you.
Too big. Yeah. You like my little coffee talk down there? I did that for you, a little band. Yeah. And I like that you literally almost brain tripped when you saw it, because you're so glad to see, your name scrolling by.
No, it's not that.
I know.
You're going to be joining. You're going to be there with me.
I will be there. I will be there.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely true. Inspiration is good to help you evolve. I mean, because look, no one, for the most part, no one's really inventing the wheel.
Right. I was just going to say that. Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just, come on.
They're just looking at
taking influence. Yeah.
Yeah. You look at certain things, right? There's not one type of tire. Where do you live? Okay. Comes down to what type of tire you might want to have on each season. Oh, do I need a studded tire? Do I need an all weather tire? Do I live in Florida? Do I just need, a summer tire? So whether or not you're going to take a different view of things is how you look at it. So your budget comes into factor, your skill level comes into factor. And that all changes because we all have different, things that we're going through that we're good at or we're not good at. And that's why options are fantastic, right?
Yep.
Hurricane tire.
What is this? What does that mean?
Next, you're going to tell me that I look like the Michelin guy after you told me I look like the freaking puffy guy. Now, oh, yeah, matter of fact, John looks like the Michelin guy. Well, let me tell you something, pal. The Michelin guy got a do-over. He looks pretty buff in the last 10 years.
Yeah, they went buff. I meant more like, big walking through things and knocking it over.
I'm just kidding.
And you went down that. Somebody's making fun of me, damn it. And,
yeah.
And then you started getting all riled up.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't take much.
You brought up a type of tire needed for Florida, a hurricane tire.
Hurricane tire.
I guess. I don't know. Is that a thing?
Is that like
snow tire or something? It's like a snow tire.
Unless Hurricane Hippo. Remember that guy?
I do, but maybe it's a tire that weighs 1,000 pounds each, holds the car down or something.
My wife lifts those. I don't do that stuff. I'm fragile.
You're not. So, do you want to talk about Thursday?
Yeah, I think Thursday we're gonna kind of just go into like trying to define your YouTube channel. So I think like a lot of people, like for instance, I think Aaron was asking about a name, right? Or sometimes you start a channel and you have a clearer direction after you make 30, 50 videos, Right. And so at that point, do you go and change that name? Do you go and have a video that discusses to your viewers about what your impact is going to be now moving forward? And so we're going to talk to John Pullum, and we're going to go into a little bit of detail about some of the maybe perhaps struggles that he's been looking to overcome with looking for a finer direction with his YouTube channel. And he's very he's very versatile in a lot of different situations, and he's done inspirational talks for a lot of big companies. And I think we see, if we look further into his YouTube channel, I just want to see what direction he sees himself moving forward with, and why certain changes that he's made and certain decisions that he's made from the past.
Yeah, because he has an interesting background.
Yeah,
we all do, but I mean, he's another one who kind of been here like me, been here. We kind of jumped around different pastures, and I believe he's been a magician, if I'm not mistaken, and he's involved in that community quite a bit. I believe he did some work with the Discovery Network.
Yeah, several shows. I think like shows he hosted
on Discovery Channel, I believe. And yes, he's done the inspirational stuff, and so he's kind of been out there doing a variety of different things and doing it pretty well. So it'd be very interesting.
30 years.
Yeah, so it'd be very interesting to see his perspective on channels and how we're niching and what it means to change.
Yeah,
we just had that discussion about names, for example.
Yeah, because it's kind of cool how that all happened with him, right? Because now we'll go into it more and we'll let him discuss it on Thursday. But he has a video that got over 1 million views. So, I mean, I don't know if you can put that in perspective for anybody, but if that happens to you, do you know where you're going to go next with that?
It's one more than 999,000.
I mean, what if you end up getting 1 million views off of this?
Oh yeah, this is gonna. I fear that I'll probably fall one or two short, but that's okay. I've had a good time, and that's all that matters. And in the end of the day, I don't normally get stressed. I can play music anywhere and do things, and crowds don't bug me. But you're always a little stressed doing something new. And again, that's a sign that you're leaning into something that you don't know, you're practicing, or you're trying to grow. And again, I appreciate people stopping by. This is an unscripted night in a way.
Yes.
And we were just, there's no blueprint. We were just kind of coming in here to say hi, let you know we're here, and I'm here, and to say thank you, because some of you already come out and been very kind already and said you were looking forward to the content, which is great. And we promise you that.
when do you foresee that you might have a video out of something? Some
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll finally get our trailer done, which is going to be a 60-second deal. It's kind of one of those things where I feel like you just got to do it. But the videos we spoke about where I'm going to playlist. Yeah. I mean, I'd be really upset if we don't have something by late next week, minimum, get
I'm
something
looking
done.
forward. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really am because that's another thing that you got to make sure, sit back and enjoy that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
like-
another milestone. And once we get these flows going, we can get content out quicker. But right now, I mean, I'm not really here about expediency. I want to do good content. And if it means being slower, that's fine. But that being said, I do want to get content out. So it's kind of a weird thing where you don't want to rush the stuff. But at the same time, I think it'd be good to get some things out here very quick.
Yeah, because I think reactions are going to be important, So when you get content out, the more feedback you get of stuff that's out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I need to know where that people receiving that and the presentation. Is the presentation maybe not jiving? There's so many different ways to present this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to find a way to do that. My style is probably going to be, quick cut to get to the point and get out. I'm not going to probably labor into it, but I want to make sure I don't short things either that way. So it's, you're going to find over time, probably the first 40, 50 videos is where you start finding a little pattern about yourself and you're getting that feedback. So,
right.
Oh, it was very nice. It's really look forward to future
Thanks,
streams
Paula.
and video content. Congratulations. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Yeah. Thanks for supporting us.
It means a lot. And we'll be talking soon about your channel and getting on and doing our music stuff. So I think we're at a good point here. I think we should strap this up and thank everybody, Brian. And I don't know all these people's names. Unfortunately, I know Lala and Steve came out, and of course your wife.
Yeah, that's my sister Carrie down there.
Carrie and Amy, and of course Sammy's always supporter, and Roy is great.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
dude, I want to give a hats off to you, man. First stream, you did an awesome job.
I appreciate it. It's good to get this one out of the way. I think it's going to be one of the hardest ones to get.
Yeah.
And we joked. I joke with you. I like to make you uncomfortable, but in the how to raise your streamer, I feel like I know I help you. You've been very cool about that, but you've been very instrumental in me getting my feet to here quick,
Thank you.
and less friction that I would have gotten on my own. And it's made this more enjoyable. And I want to express this to other people as we go that this is a great way to do this. And there are other people in here who will benefit from that. And I'm sure will help.
We'll talk more about collaborations and how they can affect you. And, when you make a connection to somebody and it's kind of like Jeff and I, we kind of knew right off the bat that there was something, right? And then we just talked about it more and more, and we got to a point and we knew that we work well together. And he gets my sarcasm, right? He gets my New Jersey sarcasm. He gets my rough around the edges. And
I get that you can't follow chat very well. It takes you 10, 15 minutes to roll back. I get it.
He uses the Go XLR. I use a real piece of good hardware, the Rodecaster. But the fact is that we complement each other, and I appreciate the good things that we both do to make the stream flow, because to be honest with you, when I watch our brand new streams, right, I'm like, wow, we really we keep things flowing and things go nice and it's pretty smooth. I'm pretty impressed. So
yeah, me too. And I think what's exciting is we're going to try to address the streams and segmenting them down the road.
Right.
In a way, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, she's a huge supporter, and I do appreciate it. We all have our supporters.
Your family has to be.
Yeah, otherwise it's a complete nightmare, right?
Yeah.
I forgot where I was with this point. Help me out here. Stream buddies.
Oh God.
Oh, you weren't listening to me. Where somebody in chat help me out. Oh, I know. We talked about segmenting our hour a little bit differently, to be a little bit more on topic, to do quicker things, and to get chat more involved quicker, to solve problems and have these kind of stream buddy things through chat more so than just back and forth. Like if we find ways to really help out, I think that's important. And some may say your stream, oh boy. Oh boy.
And we're trying to put some fun things together too, right? So I think we have a couple of good ideas too that we're working on.
We have some great ideas, and it's all going to be about
No, don't give it away.
I won't say it, but it has a lot to do with chat and our friends and our community.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to be about. We can say that, and I'm excited for that. So, I think I'm gonna. Jeff's camera said that's enough. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I move around a lot, and I have a tendency to
Well, I had a blast, and
unfocused.
thanks for having me, and I can't wait until we meet up on Thursday and talk to John. He's going to be hilarious to begin with, and I'm sure after we get through the serious stuff, he's going to be cracking us up. So
he's going to be something. So with that, I want to say thank you to you guys. We will see Thursday at 9.
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah.
And we're going to get cranking. And now it's not it's kind of me. It's not just the camera's fine. It's a user error. And I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just, I'm going to get rid of you.
We learn as we go.
We learn as we go. How do I get rid of you? There we go. I didn't really want to get rid of him. I want to just move him around. But okay, so everybody, I want to thank you personally. I want to thank John. John's a huge influence on me already. We've said it several times, but he won't let me say it for real. I appreciate that. And many, many endless thanks to AIM. And we'll see you guys on Thursday at 9 p.m. Come on out. We got John. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much. We're out. Yeah, I'll give you a tune for a second. Then I'm booting you out of here. I see 6 people. 6 too many. I already got rid of John because John's a real pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. I could say that now. You can't say anything. I believe in magic. I made John disappear. I made him this small. Squish his head. John's doing the robot right now backstage. It's so awful. All right, guys. Peace. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
I can't see, I can't breathe.